Hello, everyone. My name is Poe, and welcome to another episode of 365 Days of Praise, a series exploring the various contributions of people of color in the greater Tampa Bay area and beyond. This recurring program will highlight the work of community leaders, entrepreneurs, activists, educators, organizers, artists, and professionals striving towards the enlightenment and progress of those in the Black community and our willing allies. Today I have a very special guest with us by the name of Annielle Timmons. Hello, Tiger.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
I met
Hello,
Tiger
everybody.
a few months ago at a fashion show that I was doing photography for, and ever since then we've done a couple of shoots, and it's been a great experience.
Thank you. Yes, we met, at one of the fashion shows, and that's an interesting side to people who follow me and know me is that I don't post a lot about it on my mental health page, but I'm a bodybuilder. I do some modeling. And I live a full life, so it's been wonderful, and we've had a really great friendship that we've been building. So,
Absolutely. So let's just go ahead and just get on into it. So, Tiger, let's say, where are you from, and what was your childhood like?
thank you. And let me also let you guys know a little bit about myself. Annielle, I'm a therapist. I'm a speaker. I'm a activist in the community. I'm very big on mental health. I also have a book that just was released, A Small Book for Big Confidence. And I am really big on helping individuals build resilient and powerful mindsets, atmospheres, and lifestyles. So thank you for having me. And a little bit about myself. Thank you for asking that question about childhood. So I was a spunky kid.
All right.
I was a kid. You probably was a good kid. I would be considered one of the bad kids, but I don't believe in label kids as good and bad, but I was very vocal. What were you going to say?
I was a kid that got in a lot of fights because I was very small and I didn't like people picking on me. So
got you. Yeah. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I too.
Okay.
I wasn't that small, but I did get in a decent amount of fights. You in neighborhood, you got to defend yourself. I was never the starter though.
Okay. But
I would finish it. But nonetheless, we moved over 19 times in my childhood. We moved a lot. My mom was a single parent.
Okay.
And she worked very hard to make ends meet.
Okay.
And just kind of stability. It was a domestic violence situation with my stepmom, with my mom and stepdad at the time. He was on drugs. So we moved a lot. Shelters, the whole nines. And I pretty much grew up like looking for love in all the wrong places. And for a teenage girl, what that looked like. And it wasn't until I was 19 years old that I began to seek to heal from my trauma. And I had a mentor who basically candidly told me one day that I had low self-esteem and that if I did not work on it, I would suffer.
Okay.
And even though it was very piercing, I was able to take a step back and realize she was right. Like she said, all my problems are people's problems, and I did care excessively about what people thought of me.
Right.
And at that age, I threw myself into my healing. I was like, either I could let those words break me or I could let those words build me.
Right.
And so that's why I wrote the book, The Small Book of Big Confidence as well. It's my love letter. It's me giving back with all the different strategy and wisdom and evidence-based tools that I use to repair my self-esteem and build my confidence.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. So you got up to the book. And we talked about you starting your healing process at 19, but let's take a step back a little bit before that.
Yeah.
When you were young, when you were going through your various stages, I guess your earliest memory, what did you want to be as a career or otherwise when you were younger and you wanted to grow up? What were your goals? What was it?
That's a great question. So I remember that in preschool, they were going around, they were asking, what we wanted to be. It was either kindergarten or preschool. I think it was kindergarten, in which my mom was there, and they were like, what do you want to be? What do you want to be?
Right.
And, all the kids were saying, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Right.
And I was like, I want to be a firefighter. Wait, no. I want to be a singer. No, wait, I want to. And I started naming off all these things.
Right.
My mom says she remembers me saying famous, but I remember just naming off all these things.
Right.
Which is interesting because now I am a bodybuilder.
Right.
I'm a motivational speaker.
Right.
I'm a therapist.
Right.
I'm an author.
Right.
And I've also did a lot of things in my 20s as far as careers and exploring. So basically, I now have niches that do tailor to my personality, like the speaking, the therapy. But as you can see, I love to explore, and I've always been a woman of a big vision.
That's awesome. So What were some of the extracurricular activities that you participated in on your way growing up?
Sure. One thing my mom did an amazing job with, despite us not having a whole lot of money, she did a great job with making sure we stay busy.
Okay.
So she put me and my sister in cheerleading.
Okay.
We were in basketball. What else? Cheerleading and basketball. And I also ran track in high school as well.
So you're a true Renaissance woman in every sense of the word, I'd like to say. That's so awesome. That's so awesome. So again, you were talking about your many different jobs and things like that. So let me ask you this: what was your first job?
Ooh, my first job that I could actually say I got signed off. I did a Boys and Girls Club partnership where it was with this local career fair, which I was 16. But the first job that they officially hired me by myself based on my interview was Sears.
Okay.
Sears. I was a cashier.
Oh man, Sears. Yeah, the Sears catalog and everything. They had to give them on lock for a while.
Now they didn't have that during my.
Yeah, that's many moons ago. Now that's before my time now too. Now, come on.
Yes, but it was a great job in which I sold credit cards and I was the leading credit card seller. I had my pitch down. I was so great with people. I loved it.
Okay. Full gusto. Okay. All right. So let's go this way. Tell me something that all women know that more men should know, if there is such a thing.
Yes, I am going to make a big claim, but I feel like I can back it up.
Let's do it.
I believe women know more about emotional intelligence than men know. I feel like since we're little, we are raised to be relational, to be expressive. We are raised to be very communal. And I think that because of that, we don't have the messages like you guys have where, you don't cry, men don't cry, just focus on, your activities, the tasks you guys are doing, the games and different things like that. Sports, by games. And women, we're kind of like allowed to feel, and we're kind of able a lot of times to be very vocal and expressive. And even when women, I read a book that's by D. Bernstein, Women in Friendships. It was basically saying that men get together a lot of times over a shared task or a shared interest. When women, we usually can just get together to talk. Like we can go sit at a park. We can go sit at each other's house and just talk. And so I think that women are very in tune to their emotions, and we're very emotionally astute. And I think that men may not have a good understanding of those feelings.
Those are very good points. To add on to that, we all feel, and I think that for a lot of us, especially growing up, certain emotions we're not allowed to feel, or we're allowed to feel them, but we're not allowed to express them. So then I counter that with you. When a man does express how he really feels, a lot of times I believe that men think that they will put something out, release some sort of vulnerability that can be used against them in the future. So that's why things are held on to sometimes.
Like a fear of being judged.
Yeah.
Okay. A fear, okay. And that also would make sense too, based off of your earliest experiences with vulnerability and how those people around you responded to that. So that makes a lot of sense. And I think too, women, because even growing up, I didn't see a lot of emotional vulnerability growing up, and I had to learn that when I went to college. And that I didn't really know how to be vulnerable with women if I was sad, if I was hurt, if I was in pain, if I had a really bad day. I didn't know how to show up because my mom was a hard worker. She would work 2 and 3 jobs, and I didn't see her feelings, right? She didn't have time to feel. A lot of times, single parents don't have time to feel. And the other emotion I saw was anger, right? With the different things going on in my house growing up, and so again, just to that point is like a lot of times it's how that fear of being judged or just feeling like maybe someone will use that against you in some capacity.
Is there a space that you see for the vulnerable man, the man that lets his emotion out, to do so and not be, oh, well, he's weak, I want this type of man, I want that alpha type of guy and this and such? Or you know.
Yeah. So for one, let me just say there's space for it. For one, me as a therapist, also me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I love a man who is both masculine,
Right.
but also have a little tenderness and gentleness to them,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't feel like, either one should be,
Right.
Separate. Just like women, like we have, and I heard a book that talked about this point emphasized in a book that I don't remember the name,
Mm-hmm.
but it was about masculine, feminine energy,
Okay.
and not necessarily saying that masculine was always pertaining to being manly,
Mm-hmm.
or feminine being to pertain to being a woman,
Mm-hmm.
but just that sometimes you need to be assertive, sometimes you need to be very direct, sometimes
Right.
you need to be, the one that's not as emotional, and then sometimes you do need to have that feminine energy,
Right.
where you're able to be gentle, you're able to be expressive, emotional. And in a relationship, both people should have a little bit of both. Where I know we can get away from those judgments regarding those words, but it's just saying that it's a give or take, that you should both be assertive, but you also should have a sense to you where you're a little bit more laid back, or you're a little bit more gentle and understanding, and you can have that emotional intimacy.
That's beautiful. It's we're in an age and a stage, I like to say, that it's so much toxicity, the whole manosphere versus the women, and there's this big thing, the red pill stuff and all these things, and it's just like, where is the room for nuance? Besides the Twitter characters, can we just sit in a room and talk about our differences? There's no one-stop shop for all men this and all women do that. You do the best that works for your relationship, and other people do the best that works for their relationship. So that's great for you to hear. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, and to your point too, I believe you to be someone who's very emotionally intelligent, and I think that's very rare to find. And so I personally love me a deep, sensitive, intuitive man. Like that whole deep conversation, understanding feelings, being able to, show up and respond to like the emotion of how someone feels, I think is really dope and amazing. And again, I want to say that a man who is in touch with his emotions is a strength, because I know a lot of times, like some women, say, oh, I don't want that. But at the end of the day, if a man is able to still be solid as far as like, a person who is dependable, decisive, he's not a wrecking ball, but he's able to just articulate his feelings and even express his feelings. I think that's beautiful.
Awesome. That's great. We're gonna have to do a separate podcast on just that. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I like that. Mm-hmm. So where did the nickname Tiger come from?
Yes, so the nickname Tiger came from my older sister. I have 5 other sisters, and her words, not mine. She said I'm the most assertive, the most athletic, and the most, what was the other word? Ambitious, assertive, and athletic sister, and what I put my mind to, I get.
Okay.
So she gave me that name in a season where I didn't feel powerful. Mm-hmm. So I began to adapt that, and I was like, okay, this is one of the names that my siblings have said that I'm gonna take, right? Because siblings don't always say the good name.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, I'm gonna embody this. And so what Tiger did for me was it just helped me channel my energy into pursuit, into being bold. Because I think when you're in a season of depression, like I was in few years ago where my entrepreneurship journey was up and down. I was stressed out. I was going through financial hardships. Mm-hmm. And I was able to shift into this version of myself that someone else saw in me, but I may have not saw. Right. But I was able to adapt those characteristics of being bold, being assertive, being courageous, being powerful. And that's even where I began to become a speaker, where I just would just morph into that version of myself and really just get it done.
That's amazing. There is so much in the name. There's so much in the name, there's so much in words, so don't ever take those lightly. So thank you so far. We've been having an amazing interview, I feel. Tiger's been awesome. We're going to take a little brief interlude, and we'll be back with you all in a few.
See you soon.
Picture this, your special day filled with love, laughter, and unforgettable moments. Now, imagine those memories captured by a skilled artist who turns them into timeless memories. Introducing The Art of Poe, your premier wedding photographer, with an eye for detail and a passion for storytelling. The Art of Poe specializes in collaborating with you by creating stunning visuals that perfectly reflect your unique love story. From intimate ceremonies to your first family pictures, every photograph is a work of art. meticulously crafted to encapsulate the essence of your wedding day. Don't just remember your wedding day, relive it through the lens of the art of Poe. Book your consultations today at www.theartofpoe.com. That is www.theartof as in Frank, P as in Peter, O.com. And let the magic of your love story unfold in every frame.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 365 Days of Praise with Annielle Timmons. We had a little brief interlude, and we're back to get right back on it. So, how did you get into modeling?
So I started modeling last year when I got really fit. So initially, I started my fitness brand, my fitness journey with just wanting a healthy distraction, because entrepreneurship to, me getting my therapy hours that I needed to become a licensed clinical social worker. I just wanted a healthy distraction, and I wanted to get really in shape. I wanted that challenge. And so along that process came the opportunity of modeling. I was actually volunteering with the lady at my church, or helping her out, I should say, in that she had a fashion show. And when I came there, I was coming there just to be of hands, like help.
Okay.
So I was moving chairs, moving tables, putting away food,
Okay.
all the things, and every designer was like, "Oh, are you one of the models? Are you one of the models?"
Right.
And I'm like, "No." And then one lady was like, "I might need you to model something
Okay.
for me." And I'm like, "Okay, sure."
Okay.
So I was actually helping someone with like their hair, and that's when one of the designers was like, "Can you walk for me?" And so that started the modeling career is, last year actually.
So I'm just a natural.
Yep.
We just got it. So, so along with that modeling, what do you like about it the most? What do you like about it the least? And what have you learned about yourself in this process of modeling?
So one thing I love about fitness and modeling is I get to be sassy.
Okay.
I get to show my personality.
Gotcha.
Which in a lot of my, like, from the motivational speaking to my therapy, it's really about my client, right? It doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm showing up for my client to be a service, to listen, to bring value, to be a safe space for them.
Right.
And so a lot of times, like, if I show up with my vulnerability, it's really to help the client. So I don't vent or share anything unless sharing is going to benefit my client in their growth, right? So if they're going through a traumatic experience that maybe I experienced, and they need to know they're not the only one, and they need to know that there is hope on the other side and there's success on the other side, I will share that vulnerably.
Okay.
So again, my therapy practice, my motivational speaking is really to empower other people so they can become their best version of themselves, and they can also know that mental health is a strength, seeking mental health treatment is a strength, and that you can bloom where you're planted. So all that to say that in modeling, I get to be myself. I get to show up authentically.
Right.
I get to be sexy.
Right.
I get to have fun.
Right.
I get to embody Tiger, which is this powerful, captivating being. And I do appreciate that about modeling. I get to be really free.
That's amazing. So, a lot of great things. Anything that, is not so good about the modeling?
So I experienced a racist a racist experience at an event with one of the big companies in town. And it was really hard. And I'm going to give you the scenarios, and then you guys can make a judgment for yourself.
I'll do it.
So one of the fashion shows with one of these big providers in town, in which they do a lot of like medical stuff, like injections and all the different things like that, vitamins and all the things, right? And I was there promoting their gear, because a lot of times they show up to these events. And the agreement was, initially, I was going to wear a bathing suit.
Okay.
I was going to, do a photo shoot in the hotel room, and then I was going to do the runway. And when I came there, because I had to go to do my fitting to the place, after the girl took pictures of me, she loved my outfit. She took pictures of me, and I guess she had ran it by the organizer. And the organizer like was like, oh, she needs to wear like tights or whatever. They took away my the swimsuit aspect of it.
Okay.
And she said I needed to wear a bodysuit.
Okay.
Now, granted, I am in the best shape of my life at this point.
Right.
I am down 12% body fat. Yet she's saying I need to wear. She changed my outfit from a swimsuit to then tell me I need to wear shapewear.
Right.
In order to wear now wear this new outfit
Right.
she took from. She said I couldn't wear.
Right.
So then then they basically said, okay, you're gonna do the photo shoot at the hotel, and you're also going to do the runway show.
Mm-hmm.
I get to the hotel, no one's really making eye contact, coming over to me.
Right.
The other girls are getting multiple outfits to do photo shoots. Some of them have done 2 outfit changes.
Right.
I haven't got any outfit changes, and I was there going on 2 hours.
Right.
So I'm just kind of sitting around. I then go at that point to talk to the man who's the husband of the of the center or whatever. I talk to him, and he goes, "Okay, yeah, I'm looking for you something right now." Mm-hmm. Goes and finds the outfit, but finds it for another one of the Caucasian people. It was 3 hours into me being in that hotel, hadn't got a photo shoot, to then the photographer had to come and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we forgot about you." Mm-hmm. And then they decided that they were gonna give me a few snaps.
Right.
And then by that time, I called my friend because I really felt kind of somber about the whole thing, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And my friend said, "It sounds like you're in a marginalizing environment, and that you're experiencing some discrimination."
Right.
And when he said that, it was like the light bulbs went off, and I immediately took off the outfit.
Right.
I went down to my car and made sure I put all my stuff in the car, and I walked the outfit out to them and gave it back to them, and I left.
And you left.
So I will say that in the industry sometimes that colorism, prejudice does exist. Right. In their defense, one of the girls was black who brung me on. So I think she brings people on. Okay. But I don't think the black people stay. Right. Because they kind of see the culture of that place. Right. Right. And I've also been messaged about this particular organization from other people who experienced the same thing that I did.
Well, that's a powerful story, and unfortunately, that's not the first time I've heard a story like that from someone of color that's dealing with that type of discrimination in the industry. Me as a photographer, I've seen a bit of it myself, and that's why we just have to try to put ourselves in position of power. We can make those types of decisions and move forward in a better way. So appreciate that story.
We don't have to settle for being in an environment that is going to make us feel oppressed.
Exactly.
We have the power to walk away and to go where we feel liberated. Like I went to the it's an AOL fashion show. Okay. I believe that it was called the Rebel Fashion Show, and that one was really good. And all the fashion shows that I've been to have been very inclusive. Other than that one.
Okay. Well, that's great.
So go where you're celebrated, not tolerated.
I love it. Let's do it. So we've talked about you being fit and your fitness and being pretty fit even as a child. But what prompted you to go into your first fitness competition?
Ooh, so I was athletic as a kid, and the first fitness competition, I wanted to challenge myself to get in the best shape of my life. I've always admired very fit people. I love Tiana Taylor's abs, Angela Bassett's arms, Jennifer Lopez and her athleticism. So I've always admired that body, and I knew that in order for me to get in great shape, I had to commit to something that would get me there. And I initially started off with a marathon. My legs don't like marathons.
A full or half?
I was gonna do a full.
Okay.
However, I realized that I probably should start small and do the half. Yeah. So then I narrowed it down to the half, but still with the intention of going to do a full.
Gotcha. All right.
However, started running.
Okay.
Kept straining my IT bands and getting shin splints. Right. I ended up switching my goals to bodybuilding, and I actually love my physique probably better than I would have loved a runner's body. Physique, and it challenges me. It gets me in the gym when I don't feel like it, and it really just helps me to kind of focus and develop that. Well, it did and it has helped me form that discipline. So that's why I decided to do that competition, because I needed something. I'm an achiever. I love to achieve in goals, and it was that next thing for me to go to the next level.
Sounds amazing. health is wealth, physical and mental, which leads me into my next line of questioning. Tell us about your career as a mental health therapist.
Ooh, I love it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoy being a therapist, and I was blessed that when I was 19, I began the journey with my mentor.
Okay.
About 20 is when I started therapy, and it was a very liberating experience for me to have someone listen to me, unbiased, and be able to show up for me in a way that I had never felt before like that. And it brought a lot of clarity to my life, my personality. And so I wanted to be that for somebody.
Right.
Just like how a mentor and my therapist was there for me. I wanted to be able to show up for someone. And God kind of showed me that was my purpose and my calling, because I always got excited about just being able to let people know that there's hope, that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that no matter what you're going through, that it will get better for you. You may have to put in a whole lot of work like what I did, because healing from trauma is absolutely work, but it's possible. And so that's what I'm called to do. I call myself the hope dealer, in the sense of giving hope back, being able to help people own their stories and find the power in rewriting their narrative.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so I've known you for a few months, Tiger, and I've known you to be a very spiritual person. If you wouldn't mind, could you talk a little about your spiritual journey?
Ooh, absolutely. When I turned 19, around that time is when I became a Christian, a devout Christian. I got baptized too when I was really younger. And even then, though, I would say I've always had a relationship with God. My grandfather is a minister. My grandmother is very spiritual. The kind of woman who does a lot of fasting and a lot of praying. I had an uncle who's my spiritual soundboard and minister over 35 years. So I kind of come from the background. I don't think I ever truly understood what that meant and what that looks like. And I think at 19 I was ready to invest, give back, and invest in the sake of give it my all to God and really commit my life to God. And so I became baptized. I, became new in Christ, and I began the prayer. I began to go to church more, and I began to just really have a pure heart. I was asking people for forgiveness that I had heard. I was really being intentional about my walk. So even now, I love God. I go to church regularly, and I'm just always prayed up about all the decisions I can't say all, right? Those are absolutes.
Right.
But I try to do my best to include God in whatever it is I'm doing, and even praying over my clients as well.
Right. Well, that's awesome. And in saying that, was it ever a time, I guess, in your life where your faith was questioned? Am I doing the right thing? Or these things are happening, I believe, but why? Or were you always steadfast 100% in it?
I'm an empath. No, I was not steadfast. But that's a great question. Absolutely, I had a good amount of times where, not a lot, but one time vividly, I remember in 2021 very vividly, where I went through a lot of Christian hurt. Mm-hmm. And I counted 5 Christian folks on the other day that really hurt me bad. Okay. And that they were friends that were, devout Christians in the church. And I was spending a good amount of time with them, if it was via prayer calls or on the phone and, hanging out, and just the depth of relationship was there. And getting hurt by them in that the mean girl energy, where I would, show up and we were spending time together and I would get excluded out of conversations, to me giving back and, opening my home to someone who ended up, we've had a fallout, to a few other times. And I was just kind of I didn't necessarily question God. Right. But I kind of fell back from the religious aspect of being a believer. Okay. Because anything that felt similar to those religious folks, I kind of took a step back from. I stopped kind of going to church at one point. Okay. I wanted to be far away from those Christians who would talk a good game, but in real life they were salty. They weren't kind. They weren't loving. They were avoidant. They were not accountable for their actions. And so I would more so say not necessarily questioning God, but questioning, that the religious aspect.
Right.
And so another time where questioning God or my circumstances was early on in my entrepreneurship journey as well. So questioning, like, what is God? God, what are you doing? Do you really know better? And not even to say it overtly, but just like, wow, God, like, I thought I would be further. I've worked really hard on these businesses. God, why aren't they flourishing? Why aren't they growing? And the truth of the matter is, a lot of time we just start things and we're like, God bless it, God bless it. And God is like, I need you to tend to your soil. I need you to stay focused. And, to everything there's a season. And so I will definitely say that, when we have those moments, it's important to stay the course. And just like in the Psalms, like, it's okay to lament. But don't stay stuck like the Israelites. And don't forget to give praise, because after you vent and you process it and you let it out, give God the glory still, because his thoughts and his ways are higher, even if we don't feel like it.
That's awesome. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, great answer. We're going to pivot and go here from God to another type of superpower. So if you were able to have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, teleportation.
That's the best one.
Definitely. I do not like wasting my time. So, a lot of times, even with us beautiful black people, we can be a little bit late to certain things. So I would like that if someone says they're going to be, and by the way, and black me, I can be late to things, so I'm going to hold myself accountable, okay? And my concept of time, I mean well, my concept of time sometimes is just not there a lot of times. I'm getting better. But I would just like, okay, teleport there. Okay, y'all not ready? Cool. All right, I'm going back. So I can do some work. You feel me? Or be able to travel across the world and experience so many different cultures and environments and not have to deal with all the expenses and the time of travel.
That's an amazing answer. What
about you?
That's mine.
Okay.
Teleportation.
Really
well. Jumper. That movie was an inspiration to me, and someday I may be able to accomplish it.
There you go.
All right, so let's talk about the book. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's talk about your new book. Let me ask the first question about it is, when did you know that you were going to write it?
I've known I wanted to write a book since, I'm going to say, about 2020. And that I did my podcast, Bloom with Purpose podcast. Took a little break from you guys, but that's going to come in a season when I have more time, okay? But when I started sharing my story of my trauma and what I went through, and the feedback I received from people sharing their stories to, sharing with me that they were able to bring a baby around the family because of, they let go of that shame because of me sharing my story. And, hey, this podcast, really helped me to forgive my mom, or to really be able to heal from those things that, has been permeating my heart for so long. I knew I wanted to give back, and I knew I wanted to write a book. Now, this particular book on confidence, now I have a few books still in the works, but this book on confidence, I decided I want to do this last year. I knew I wanted to, because I have all this information, even me being a self-esteem and confidence therapist, I knew that I wanted to create something that can resonate with an individual who is sick and tired of secretly hating themselves and berating themselves after they make a mistake, after they leave a social encounter, after they fall short of their goal. I knew that it was time, because all of my clients were complaining of the same thing, that they would feel just this inner wrongness and this like deep pain within themselves, that they didn't like who they were, and that they really wanted to heal and get healthy self-esteem, so that they're able to pursue their goals without fear, so that they're able to love themselves without the approval of others. And so I decided to create this book because at this point I'm an expert. I've read so much, I've learned so much, and I wanted to give it back. It's like my love letter to you guys who are tired and you actually want to be liberated, and you want to take back the power to be happy in your mind. Perhaps you don't even know what that is.
Exactly.
To really, truly love and embrace who you are. And so I decided to write this last year when I kept seeing that pattern in therapy, and felt deep in my soul like, okay, it's time to get back in that way.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And it's so dope to see that. You're telling me that it was coming, and I was like, okay, that was pretty fast. You actually put it out when you said you were going to do it, and it's such a beautiful thing. So please support her in this endeavor.
Amazon. You can get this small book for big confidence on Amazon and Kindle, and soon it will be on Audible within the next month.
Amazing. All right, so let me ask you this, and I think we'll end on this final official question. What does blackness mean to you?
Oh, I smelled something lovely, even as you said that. Blackness means to be regal.
Okay.
It means to me to be remarkable because of where we came from, and especially being African American, we have such a rich history of the strongest people on this freaking planet. And if we come from that, we can do and be anything that we want to be.
Absolutely.
It is so beautiful, it's so captivating, it's so lovely, it's so awe-inspiring. If I feel loved by God, even at the thought of it, that we've been carried through these beautiful years of struggle, and yet here we are, with our phenomenal black selves, living life. And everything we do is so cool and so dope, and we do it with our own flavor and style and poise and grace. So it means to me, it means to be remarkable.
Absolutely. That was a beautiful answer. And on that note, we get close to the end. So what I'd like to say is, Annielle, how can people get in contact with you?
Absolutely. Get in contact with me. You can follow me on Instagram at @IamAnnielle, Facebook Annielle Timmons, also annielletimmons.com. I also will be launching my group therapy practice within the next couple of months. So you will be able to access clinicians who are going to be able to support you. I am getting booked. I am very booked. So you might not be able to access me.
Okay.
But on social media, I share a lot. I give a lot. And even in this book, you're going to be blessed. So anything that I'm a part of, I want you to be a part of, and know that you can harness the power of owning your story and build, resilient and powerful mind. So I want to connect with you. Reach out to me on social media. I'm on all platforms, including TikTok as well, at @IamAnnielle.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you all for watching another episode of 365 Days of Praise, where every day is a cause for celebration when the cause is worth celebrating. I am Poe. Thank you. We're out.
Blessings.